Hello everybody, it's time for flattening the kotatsu table. So I start this off manually, getting off some of those popsicle sticks and paint sticks I left stuck to the top of the table. I think sometimes I leave them there now because it's satisfying to see this go from super ugly to kind of pretty. In the first pass I did manually so I could make sure that the heights were all set correct, and then I put it into the automatic mode and rock and roll. So the top was pretty flat as expected, and by the second pass we were already where we needed to be. The only part we have to watch out for is that bottom left-hand corner, and when we flip the table over, I'll show you why. This shows me that everything was flat because everything got taken off with an 1/8 inch cut. So the only thing to do is show how manly or stupid I am and flip the table over all by myself. And it's not so much that it's super heavy, but it is 4 feet wide, so there's not a whole lot of leverage you can get on it when you're flipping it. Even though we flattened this wood before we poured this table, the right board curled quite a bit with the pour of the epoxy, and that just comes with the territory. It happens all the time. We don't talk about it all that much, but every time you pour epoxy, it's going to deform the wood a little bit. Epoxy shrinks as it cures, and it has an impact on the wood. So right now, all of my focus is on this little area right here, because that is where the majority of the wood curled up. So I absolutely don't want to carve it down so much that I lose the folds out of the middle of the epoxy there. But I do have to cut it down enough to where I do expose the hemp pattern through the bottom of the table. This right here is the make or break pass. If this pass right here doesn't expose the majority of the hemp pattern, then I'll end up having to carve out a lot of the middle that I don't want to. And see, there's our problem. So after much deliberation, what I decided to do was just carve it out manually. And then I'll go back and backfill this with some tabletop epoxy. In a perfect world, I wouldn't have to do this, but we know it's not a perfect world or Betty White would still be with us. Get weird with wood.